Today we have Viral Parmar doing a talk on daily threats that we often ignore. First of all, Viral Parmar is a Mozilla representative and cybersecurity researcher. He has started the logout campaign, which has influenced more than 1 million people across the globe. He is famous for his research on cyber disorder and who is spying on you. He's also an open source enthusiast. Over to you, Viral.
Thank you, Sohan. Thank you for introductory introduction. So, good morning, everyone. Good morning to everyone. I hope you guys can hear me properly. Great. So, thank you for inviting me today on this day, on 22nd of October, which is also and happens to be a birth anniversary of Sri Mahatma Gandhi ji, who is true in nature as an advocate of non-violence. Also, our second Prime Minister, Lal Bahadur Shastri ji. So I would like to take this opportunity to share my knowledge and experience related to cyber security and things that we actually face on a regular basis. The daily cyber security threats. It's about people who are citizen. As of now, it's become a citizen of internet. That is internet citizen. That is netizen. So netizen who is living in a bubble of internet, using internet, creating a data, and can affect become as an identity of data, and it can also affect their personal life as well. So my today's topic is related to that only, that the cyber threats that we face on regular basis as a netizen in life. There is something about me. I'm a cybersecurity researcher, Mozilla Reps, given lots of sessions as of now across the world. Also, I always say that you should know hacking, but you should not be doing hacking because it's a illegal thing to do. Now, to clear out a few perspectives related to cybersecurity and hacking and stuff. So this photo shows that this is how hacker looks like. If you think about any kind of hacker. So the first picture that comes into your mind is this: that there is a dark room. There are a few people sitting in front of laptop or computers and trying to hack something. But actually, it is not like that. If we talk about cybersecurity researchers, experts, or ethical hackers, the scenario is like this, which is a professional job. It is a good professional job where people actually help companies, organizations, individuals, startups, MNCs, big companies, everyone, and secure them and help them to secure their applications, either it's a web application, mobile application, or anything else. Now, it is as normal as job as a graphics designer, social engineer trainer, network security admin, social media consultant, and similarly, you can see there is no difference between ethical hacker and other people because it's just as normal and as human as possible. Now, if we talk about how or what is defining us as of now on the age of internet, we can say 4G, 5G right now is coming, right? So we are connected and we are sharing lots of data on regular basis. So we are connected with data, we are sharing lots of data, and data we are actually surrounded with data. And it has been said that a person who have an access to the data, or who has an access to information, who have an control over data, can do anything. So that's why it has been called that data is the new oil. If someone have the data, he or she is having the new oil of the industry or of a community or organization or across the world, because it is as valuable as oil. Even recently, when Sri Narendra Modi ji also mentioned in his speech, where he mentioned and he compared data to the gold. The data is the new gold. But as it shows an importance, that my concern is that data is that important, that which has to be compared with oil or gold. Now, if you talk about data, what kind of things can happen with data? What kind of things that we can do with data, or what happen if something go wrong with data? What if we can say what if what possibly can happen with our data or to our data? So let's say, let me give you a good scenario, case study, I would say, or even maybe you saw a movie called Die Hard. Die Hard 4.0 is a good movie. If you saw that movie, I hope you know that what or how things can go wrong in age of internet. So how it is going to happen. So I'll give you a brief about the movie scenario and also compare with the live case studies, real life case studies. So if we talk about movie, then movies are like kind of inspired by real life scenarios, right? So in this movie Die Hard 4.0, it has been shown that there are a few group of hackers who actually hack into the whole US government. They hack the whole country. They do a cyber attack in 3 phases. That is, and the attack called as an fire sale. So in that attack, what happened is they hack into the whole network infrastructure. They hack into their whole transportation systems. They hack into traffic lights. They hack into railway roads. They hack into air traffic controls. They hack all the transportation possible scenarios. Then they hack into the banking financial sectors. They hack into share market. They hack into banks and other things. In third phase, they hack into all the utility sectors like oil and natural gas pipelines, then electricity grids, then communication channels. They hack into all this thing. So in this 3 phase, they hack into all this thing and they shut down the whole country. And it's a movie. But let me share you a good real life case studies where these things has been happen and can happen very easily if someone wants to. So if we talk about hacking such things and hacking into first phase, that as I mentioned, railway transportation systems and air traffic controls and traffic lights. So last year in DEF CON Las Vegas, there was a hacker who actually hacked into. He was showing in real life practical as a hands-on session in workshop, and he actually hacked into Las Vegas traffic light systems. Then it is a real case studies. You can look into the Google and you can check it. Then if we talk about railway transportation systems, so in India, there are different zone of Indian Railway, and there was an incident that happened 3 years back where from Surat to Bhusawal, there is a railway direct line. It was hacked by some Pakistani hackers, and they were from cyber terrorist cell, and they actually hacked into our local network, local Indian railway network that is called RailNet, and they showcase a picture which shows and which says that we'll take the Kashmir back, and we want our Kashmir back. Pakistan Zindabad was written there. Now it shows that our railway infrastructure can be hacked very easily. Then I hope you are aware about the Uri attack where Pakistani terrorists actually attacked our Indian soldiers and they killed them and they murdered that. So now to take back a revenge on that, and after Uri attack, a few Indian hackers actually hacked into Pakistan's Islamabad airport and they hacked into their networks. They shut down the whole airport. So this kind of case studies are actually real life case studies, which actually shows that this whole infrastructure of transportation can be hacked very easily. Then if you talk about second phase, banking financial sectors, on regular basis you can see there is banks has been hacked. If we talk about India, from last 2 years I have seen that almost each and every bank, either it's an SBI, HDFC, Axis Bank, or whatever other banks are there, so they all been hacked, they all been breached, their data has been compromised. It's on there and on the internet, it's on dark web. People are actually buying this data. After using this data, buying it, they are using this data to do a scam and frauds. So this type of things are happening as of now, right now. Also, there was a big breach that happened. There was some hackers who actually hacked the whole Bangladesh Reserve Bank, and they took out almost $110 million, and no one knows that where that money went to. And also, similarly, stock market has been breached recently. I think it's been 2 years, I think so. But yes, it has been done. So it also shows that our banking, financial, and insurance sectors can be compromised very easily and can be hacked. If we talk about third phase, so third phase is like utility sectors, where we are actually utilizing all the resources from all the governments and companies, like electricity grids, oil and natural gases, and then communications, right? all this can be compromised very easily. How? Let me share a good example of it. If we talk about oil, natural gas, so I hope you are aware about, or you are getting an gas pipeline at your home from either ONGC, JSPC, Adani Gas, Reliance, some other, any of the other company as well. So now there is not a single person sitting there, pulling up the levers that this after this putting on that gas will go to your home, right? Everything is computerized. So if there is a computer which is interconnected to internet, can be compromised, can be hacked very easily. So it has been happened that in UAE, Al Jazeera is a company who is providing oil and natural gas plants services, and they have a good plant there, big plant there, and some hacker actually hacked into their systems and they compromised the whole network, and company lost millions of dollars by hack because they shut down all the operations. Then similarly, if we talk about utility sectors, electricity grids. So in Delhi, it's been, I think, 4 to 5 years it's in Delhi, and there is a big electric grid which was hacked by so few Pakistani hackers. They hacked into the whole electric grid, and Delhi wasn't getting enough electricity for 2 days. So this kind of things can actually happen. These are the good case studies I can tell you. Similarly, if we talk about bigger hacks, bigger breaches, then there was a breach, or I would say there was an attack, cyber attack that happened, which is done by US and Israel together. They did a cyber attack on Iran's nuclear power plant. It's still going on. The dispute is still going on, where US is claiming that Iran are having more than enough nuclear power, and they can create their nuclear missiles and nuclear launch codes also they have created, and they can do an attack, or nuclear attack can also be possible. So in 2011 or 2011, there was a cyber attack done by US and Israel together. They did a cyber attack in Iran's nuclear power plant. How they did it? It was very complicated scenario. How they did it? They actually created a complicated, as of now, sophisticated malware, which was created by them, and using that malware, malware called as a Stuxnet. So using the Stuxnet malware, they actually created it, and they actually inserted that Stuxnet malware in nuclear power plant. How they did that? It's very easy. They use a social engineering technique. What they did is they actually inserted the Stuxnet malware in lots of pen drives, and they drop the pen drives around the nuclear power plant. So it's very normal and human tendency that if you find any pen drive on the road, you will take that pen drive at your home and insert the pen drive in the systems and check that if that pen drive is empty or not. If there is something, you will check on that as well, right? So the similar normal human psychology works on any one of it. So there was a scientist who actually took that pen drive, went inside the nuclear power plant, inserted the pen drive in their system, and when the person who actually inserted the pen drive in the system, the whole system was infected, and then later on the whole network was infected, and whole network was infected with the malware called Stuxnet. And using that malware, the hacker, this US and Israel government actually hacked into the whole nuclear power plant, and they shut down the nuclear power plant. It was very serious that they used lots of zero-day vulnerabilities. Using that, they were actually able to hack into PLCs, and using PLCs, they can actually turn off the centrifuges, or turn on, or control the whole speed of the centrifuges. And they dial up the speed so fast that actually the centrifuge fan was destroyed, and the nuclear power plant's temperature, the uranium plutonium is there, so temperature has to be maintained. It has to be there should be coolants, right? So coolant has to be calm down the temperatures. But after the when the centrifuges were broken, the temperature has been increased, and somehow the Iran nuclear power plant, the whole team actually managed to shut down the whole power plant without any destruction. But you can see the complication of the scenario, that if that nuclear power plant has a blast, it might be 50 to 70% of nuclear power plant has been actually infiltrated the whole country, right? It's that serious. That means if someone want to actually hack something, or hack anything, whatever they want, and it may reach to up to a big extent. They can even hack into the whole country as well. They can blast the whole country as well with the nuclear powers. So it's that serious. If someone want to do something wrong with your data, your information, or up to some extent they want to attack the whole country, they can do that. And can affect the whole country very easily. Now, this is an example of, and the photo shows that this was how war room was looking like before, and now this photo shows that how the cyber war room looks like as of now. So, if there is a war, so if any the commanding officer, commander in chief, actually reach down to the war room, they should be looking like the way the photo I showed. It was before the tech ages. Right now, it looks like this because sitting here at one place only, they can do whatever they want. They can launch drones, they can launch missiles, they can do cyber attacks, they can do whatever they want to, and they can do it very easily. So this is an age of cyber war. Cyber warfare is happening across the world as of now. Lots of countries trying to hack another countries. It's in the news from last 1 week. I am monitoring this news where actually some other countries like Chinese and Russians are trying to hack into USA, and they are trying to get all the information, data, whatever they can get and grab. Not only that, they are just US government is also trying to hack into Russia, China, India, wherever they can. So it is right now the cyber warfare is happening. Even lots of countries are trying to hack into our infrastructure as well, in our national infrastructure as well. It has been seen in last 1 year, our Tuticorin, or I think there was some other nuclear power plant which was actually being hacked. Some Chinese hacker actually hacked into the one nuclear power plant. They hack into a submarine. They hack into one national infrastructure systems. They hack into defense department. They hack phones. They hack into lots of things. Even Pakistan is trying to hack into Indian defense department and personals. They're hacking their phone, they're hacking into WhatsApp, Facebook, and other things. So lots of hacking is happening as of now on regular basis, but most people are not aware. Most of the people don't know the scenarios, what is happening as of now. But we are in a state of war was there. Obviously, we were in state of war, but right now we are in state of cyber warfare. Cyber war is happening as of now. Every day, big cyber attacks is happening on regular basis. Companies or organizations has been compromised. Data has been leaked. It has been dumped on internet. Lots of things are happening. Now, if we talk about cyber warfare, up to what extent, what kind of countries are doing, what are the things that they are doing as of now, since last 10 years, I can say, where the whole scenario was changed into cyber technologies. Even US Department have a cyber wing as a fourth wing, defense wing as of now, because about Indian, like let's suppose if we talk about India, we have Indian Air Force, Indian Army, Indian Navy. Similarly, they have US Air Force, US Army, US Navy, and similarly they have a fourth wing called cyber wing. And also they recently even launched and started a fifth thing, which is for space, right? So Space Force. So similar kind of things, they are ahead of it, and lots of countries also ahead of us. If we talk about cyber warfare, but if we talk about cyber attacks, as this is happening on regular basis, what is happening? So if we talk about cyber attacks, so lots of companies and organizations are being compromised. Lots of information has been shared with governments as well. So if we talk about cyber attacks, there are lots of cyber attacks being happen by different countries, organizations, or individuals, or hackers, and they're hacking into lots of data. And this kind of attacks are actually affecting the economy as well, companies, share market as well, and companies losing lots of money. Also, individuals' data as well. Now, if we talk about how or what kind of things that happen, so let me show you a good example of it. These are the newspaper cutouts or news. This reports from news only, where you can see that US government actually did 2 cyber attacks less than in a week, and also you can see that European police agencies carried out a cyber attack against ISIS, and also there is a good example of it where after the recent scenarios of Saudi, the US carried out a cyber strike on Iran after Saudi attack, because Iran did a attack on Saudi. So this kind of things are happening on regular basis, where one country is attacking another country. Similarly, there was few other scenarios that happened with us in last because of the COVID-19, because of the lockdown. Lots of people has actually gone to internet, and the number of users has been increased. So number of cyber attacks and cyber crime is also increased because of the users. Now it was in the news where 40,300 cyber attacks in the last 4 to 5 days from China has been happened, which was reported by Maharashtra Cyber Department on 21st or 22nd of June. Also, UPSCF personnel told that they need 52 applications, including TikTok, WeChat, and other things. So even the Indian government also deleted and banned more than 250 applications as of now, and most of them are Chinese. Also, why did they did that? Because they are afraid of that if something happens wrong, something happens or something go wrong with data information, Chinese government will be having all the data of ours and all ours data, and they can use in any different manner, whatever they want to and however they want to. That's why, for the precaution, for the national security purpose, all the applications has been banned. Similarly, Australian government has been hacked, and it was a state-based cyber attacks that actually affect the whole state, the whole country as well, the Australia country, and it was very sophisticated attack that ever Australia has faced. So similar kind of attacks are happening on regular basis. And if we talk about cyber attacks, there are lots of good scenario as well. I'll quickly go through that topics content. That if we talk about preparedness of cyber attack, how or what are the companies and what are the organizations are doing, or how the governments are actually prepared for the cyber attacks. So if we talk about let's talk about USA first. So USA is prepared for cyber attack. As of now, they have all the resources possible. So maybe you are aware about the case study of Edward Snowden. Edward Snowden was working with US government. He was a consultant. He was working with NSA. He was working with CIA as a consultant, cybersecurity consultant, and he was helping them to create few tools. Now he wasn't aware that what US government is doing with that tools. So after 9/11 attack, US government was pretty much scared that any kind of this terrorist attack can happen in US soil. So what they did is they actually created a law which actually helped them to get all the possible information and all the possible threat for their country. So what they did is they actually created an act called Patriotic Act. According to that act, they can actually get all the information possible on the basis of just if they think that this person is can be an accused, or they suggest or they say that if this person can be a terrorist kind of in any manner, so they can get all the information possible from them or about him or her using this act. Also, they can do surveillance without any FIR, without any legal procedure or anything. So they can do that using this act called Patriotic Act. So what or how they can do that? So they actually create this act, and then after they created lots of tools and technology using that, they can do a surveillance. So how they can do that? So what they did is they actually found out lots of zero-day vulnerabilities, and using that zero-day vulnerabilities, they were able to hack into all the system, all the devices. Either you are using any phone, either you are using any laptop, camera, whatever it is, whichever the device is there, they can actually hack into. Either if you're buying or using expensive phone for like 2 to 3 lakh as well, like if you're using iPhone, and if you're thinking that you are secure and safe enough because Apple gives them privacy and security, no, it's not that like that. Even they can hack into any smartphones, they can hack into any laptops, they can hack into any cameras, they can hack into smart TVs. Anything which is connected to internet, anything which is digital can be hackable by them. They created lots of tools and technology using that they can do it. So after this Edward Snowden was working with them, and he came to know that US government is doing surveillance on everyone, not just citizen of USA. They were doing surveillance across the world, all the country, across citizens across the world. They are doing surveillance each and every one of us. Either you are in India, in Brazil, or in Korea, or wherever you are, they are doing a mass surveillance. They were running a mass surveillance program where they were actually doing this surveillance on every one of it. Now they're getting all this information from different places. They're getting all this data from different places. How they did that? So they created lots of malwares. They created lots of they found lots of zero-day vulnerabilities, and using that they were able to create malwares. So if we talk about malwares, there are different kind of malwares as well. And if we talk about the hacking and stuff and cyber attack using malwares, so every day there are over 75 million new malware samples created every day. And the whole, if you talk about malware scenario, what is malware? Which is a malicious software which is specifically designed to disrupt, damage, gain unauthorized access to your computer system. So anyone have inserted a malware in your system or any device or in a phone, that means they are getting information or access to your system. There are different kind of malwares are there, like there is virus, worms, Trojan, keyloggers, rootkits, blinded threats, like ransomware, spyware, downloadware, remote access Trojans, bots, adwares, exploit kits. There are lots of things that happen, and using this different type of malwares, actually hackers can hack into, or the government or like the US government or other people can hack into your systems. So now if we talk about how this is happening, so they are doing it using, as I mentioned, they are doing mass surveillance. So they are using lots of tools to do mass surveillance. They are getting all the information about you, not just information from this devices or the vulnerabilities. So they were actually hacking into not your applications or not your devices. They are also getting all this information from different organizations like Microsoft, like Facebook, like Google. So whatever you are using right now, if you are accessing any Google devices, either it's if you are using Android phone, that means you are accessing Google database, or they are accessing your database. So if you talk about Google, let me start with the first thing called Google. So Google haven't, there's been saying that Google knows each and everything, but actually they know each and everything about you. If you're having or using Android phones, they are accessing your devices, they're accessing all your information. They know each and everything about you. They know, when you open which app, if you use any Facebook, let's suppose if you use Facebook app, right, in your Android phone, so they know that when you open that application, which profile you visited, for what time you were there on that profile, whom you are stalking as of now, what are things you are doing besides that. Also, if you're using WhatsApp, they know that on which contact number you were there and whom you are talking to and what you are talking to. So Android, if you talk about Androids, Google is there, so Google knows each and everything. They know all the histories, they know all the backgrounds of yourself. Even they know more about you than your parents. They know each and everything. Whatever you're doing on phones, they know each and everything. Not that just that, they actually store each and everything. So there is a folder on Google server on your name where they store each and everything possible about you. What can be the information? Like, let's suppose where you visited using Google Maps, they come to know that where you went to. Then if you store any data in their Google Drive, so they have access to all the data. If you're using Android phones, they have all the data from Android phones. If you're using any services like mails, they know each and everything about whatever you're visiting, whatever you're doing from your mails. They know almost each and everything, even more than, as I mentioned, even your parents, even yourself as well. Whatever you do, they know better. They know your behavior. They know your, whole mindset, what you are doing and what you are supposed to do and what gonna happen next. So similarly, if I talk about Facebook, the similar kind of thing that is done by Facebook, they're gathering all the information about you. We'll talk about the Facebook later, but let's stick to another company like that is Microsoft. So Microsoft knows each and everything about you. If you're using Windows operating system, they know each and everything about you, what you are doing. If you have any specific folder in your C drive, in your, if you store some data information in C drive, I'm just giving an example. There's a secret file in that folder and in the drive, and you are storing some information. They know when and how you actually open that application, when and how you open that folder, and when and how you open that file. Not just C drive, whatever, wherever it is, the file is there in your system, they know each and everything about you. So they have all the information about your system. Now let me give you a good example of it. That there was an incident that happened, but there was some Swedish hacker who actually hacked into Microsoft Windows 8 operating system, and after they found vulnerabilities, they can actually hack into the whole operating system, and they can actually take a remote access to the Windows operating system, Windows 8 operating system. So NSA actually bought that vulnerability. They bought the zero-day vulnerabilities in $10 million. So you can think on scenario of that how actually US government is getting all this information, right? Similarly, they hacked and created a malware. So after Windows 10 release, there was a speculation and there was in the news, actually US government associated with Microsoft, and Microsoft was created an operating system called Windows 10, and it was consisting of having lots of malwares doing a surveillance on you, as in they're getting all the information from you and sharing to their servers, and all this data has been shared with US government. So it's that serious that whatever you are doing on internet, whatever you are doing in system, everything has been known to someone else, right? right? Specifically, if it upon in this scenario, US government. So they are doing surveillance, they are doing mass surveillance actually, and not just you, everyone across the world. So if we talk about other people, other countries as well, there has been surveillance on different or information gathered from different departments, information gathered from different organizations as well. If we talk about the NSA, this is, as I mentioned, this is a scenario that actually this is happening as of now. That NSA has collect your data from different service provider like AT&T, Verizon, Sprint, which are actually a telecommunication or internet service provider in USA, which actually like we have an Idea, Airtel, Vodafone in India. Similar to that, there's AT&T, Verizon, and Sprint in USA. Also, companies like Facebook, Apple, Google, Microsoft, Yahoo, AOL, or any other company which is in USA and created in USA under the jurisdiction of USA, they have to share all the possible information to the US government. So they are using FISA Amendment Act, using Patriotic Act. They are getting all this information and sharing with NSA, that is National Security Agencies. All this data has been shared with CIA, that is Central Intelligence Agency. Also, Defense Department of USA. Also, this data has been associated or shared with their associated organization called GCHQ, which is a UK's intelligence department. Also, they are using lots of tools and lots of tools to gather all this information. They are using lots of tools like Prism, Nucleon, Marina, and also other different tools they are using as of now. So they are getting all the information about ourselves from different places. Now, if we talk about China, this is a video from China's traffic lights, where they were actually gathering all this information from live feeds, where they were actually recording and gathering all the information about it from traffic light as well. So you can see that for every person, you can see if there is a car, then what kind of car is there: red car, black car, blue car. If there is a person, what kind of what's the age of that person? Is he male? Like, is that person is a male or female? Is that person at what age? What he or she is driving? Whatever it is, they're getting all this possible information from different places, not just this live feed of this traffic lights, but they're getting all this information. So China is a high-tech city as of now. They're getting all the information. Even in China, if you go to any malls or supermarket, you don't have to swipe your card. You have to just show your face, and your the amount of billing has been deducted from your account directly. So it's that advanced technology they are using. They're using image processing, artificial intelligence, and other things. But it is very serious as an individual, as in because your privacy has been compromised, your individual sanity has been compromised, because the government knows each and everything about you. So the time you land on the Chinese government, Chinese soil, they know each and everything about you, starting from your fingerprints, your IDs, photo ID, wherever you go, what you do, each and everything, where you do transactions, they know each and everything about you. So is that serious? Now, if not, they are not sticking to the things that is happening in China. They are also getting all the information from across the world, similar to USA, but they have different scenario. If we talk about China, they are getting all this information from their vendors. They are companies that they are using, or they are actually creating products like about MI companies. So MI created phones. So using MI phone, if you're using MI phone, your phone has been compromised. That data has been shared with the Chinese government, and Chinese government accessing your data on regular basis every day, right? So if you're using I was supposed to tell about Apple. So if you're using Apple, if you think that your data is secure, but it's not. So Apple has also been compromised on regular basis. Data has been shared with US government, Chinese people who actually created chipsets of Apple phones, right? Similarly, there are lots of things in the news that Chinese government are accessing all this data. How they are creating lots of devices, right? If you're using laptop, if you're using this phones, whatever you are using, everything is created in China, right? All the service providers you are using mostly are from China. Like any applications you are using, either it's a PUBG or TikTok or any other applications. So these applications actually take your data, store their data in their Chinese server, and their data that is stored in Chinese server, which has to be shared with Chinese government, and they're accessing all your data. So this is how your data has been compromised. This is how other countries, other organizations are accessing your data. They can do anything with your data. Now let me show you an live cyber attack that is happening as of now. Let me share my screen again. Just give me a second. So this is few websites that you can look into it. So there is this website called cybermap.kaspersky.com, where you can look into that. You can see here there are lots of cyber attacks happening right now, different cyber attacks. So if you talk about India, so India is 10th most attacked country. So there are different attacks has been happening. So you can see the different attacks that is happening as of now if you talk about India. Similarly, there are different other maps as well. I have few also the cyber map as well. So this is another map where you can see that cyber attack is happening right now as of now on India. So on different servers, different countries, different places. So you can see here, this is a live map. This is not created by me. It is a live map. You can also see to this map. This website is threatmap.checkpoint.com. There is another website. Let me just give me a second. So as you can see, this is a map, and also sorry, just give me a second. Yes, so this is an digital attack map where you can see there are lots of different kind of DOS attack is happening. So this is a live map where you can see that a DOS attack has been happening as of now, and from different countries to different countries, and all these are live maps. So you can look into it. I'll share. You can see and take a note of this links. Or I'll share the link with you later if you want. Fine. So yes. So let's move towards the next content. Okay, fine. So I think I have to conclude in next 15 to 20 minutes. I'll go through a little bit fast for my next content. So it's about the information that we are sharing on regular basis, what we are doing. So if we talk about as of now, the whole new trend is coming where everything we are using is smart. Either it's a smartphone, smart devices like wearable devices. We are using smart watches. We are using Google Home Mini, Amazon Alexa. We are using smart fridge. We are using smart washing machine, smart coffee maker. We are using smart TV. We are using smart lights. We are using thermostat to control the temperature in your home. So all this devices actually creates the data. If you are not using these devices, if you are not using this data, actually it creates the data, and that data actually shared with their server, and all the data is stored in their server. And what they are doing with data, we don't know, right? So if we talk about, I have a case study I'll share with you, or what gonna happen on how this data can be compromised and how this data can be used in different methods. So if we talk about, let's talk about with the first example of case study of this Google Home Mini. So I have a few friends working with Google company where they told me that, as I mentioned, that they store all this information about us, right? So also similarly, this device is also connected with your account only. So whatever you say, whatever you search using Google Home Mini, let's suppose if you're saying, okay, Google, find me this, okay, Google, find me that, or just you can just search, if you're just putting in search query that want to buy a shoe, that just normal search query is also stored in their database. That means they're storing everything. Similarly, if you talk about this Google Home Mini, if you're talking to Google Home Mini and if you're telling that device that play some music, play this, play that, look for this, look for that, everything is stored. If you are local in India, if you are speaking all this and telling all this, it's giving you all this instruction in your local language. Let's suppose if you're talking in Hindi, Gujarati, Marathi, Telugu, Malayalam. So all this data, whatever you're saying, is actually been stored in these devices, and all this information is shared with their server, and all the data is stored in the server. Now, if you're saying that, if you think on how and why they are doing that, so what they did is they actually did and hired lots of companies to localize this data. They to translate this data. So if you are speaking in Hindi, Google want that data to be translated into English, and then they store their data. And as of now, they are saying that this is for user experience purpose for betterment of performance of these devices. But all this information has been converted and translated into the English language and then stored into. Let's suppose if you're not using these devices and device is there in this corner at your home, right? If you are in a room and at the corner in that room, there this device is there. And let's suppose if you're not using these devices, but still it records each and everything, whatever you talk. Let's suppose you came home and you actually talking to your father and you told your father that, I failed in the exam and please, don't beat me up and kind of stuff, other things. These things also can be stored in these devices and shared with their server as it is stored there, right? So it might give you an ad that, do you need a pain relief? The things that you talk to your father and actually your father, let's suppose, beat you. So there might be a possibility that Google give you an ad for pain relief or pain, so can be possible. So all this has been information has been stored and shared and recorded by Google Home Mini. Similarly, Amazon Alexa. So Amazon Alexa is also storing all this information. If you are talking to Amazon Alexa or not, everything is stored, shared, and recorded by the Amazon Alexa and shared with their servers and stored in their servers. Similarly, either you are using wearables, smart TV, whatever you're doing, everything is storing your information, your data, and on regular basis. Now, this is few cases I have that it has been in the news and they agreed, Google and Amazon agreed that they approved few applications and that application actually doing spying. They're actually spying on us through the home speakers. Also, there was a good case study that I came to know about that, there was a murder case in Florida. Police actually went to that crime scene, and when they went to crime scene, they saw that there is no evidence of how the crime happened, and they saw Alexa. So Florida police they actually obtained the recording of Alexa devices from Amazon that we want to see and we want to listen to it, what happened in that room when murder actually happened at that time, right? That means Alexa is recording each and everything. If you have an Amazon Alexa at your home, if you are in that room, you are doing whatever you are doing in that room, everything has been recorded. So be aware about that scenario. Also, there was good example and good cases as well for other things like smart cars. So there was a person who was actually stalking their ex-girlfriend, his ex-girlfriend, using car tracking app. Similarly, there was a case where there was an US news reporter. She found that her ex-boyfriend was cheating on her using his 4 a.m. Fitbit data. So she came to know about the data Fitbit data, and when she checked it, he was actually running towards every day morning in the morning at 4 a.m. he was running somewhere and he was meeting somewhere maybe. So when she was suspected and she came to know about, yes, he was cheating on her. Similarly, there was a big news that it was came in the news where the Amazon's executive mentioned in the news in some interview that he always turn off the Alexa devices whenever he want in private moment. It actually shows that how serious, sensitive the scenario is, that the person who is an executive in Amazon mentioned this thing, that he always turn off the Amazon Alexa devices whenever he want in private moment, right? So there was a company, similarly there was a company called Ring, which is owned by Amazon, where hackers actually hack into this Ring company's CCTV cameras. So the Ring companies creates lots of home appliances. Most of them are related to security home appliances, and they create CCTV cameras and they make CCTV cameras and other things, doorbells, security doorbells and other stuff. So there was owned by the company is owned by Amazon, and there was incident. There are lots of, not just one, there are lots of incidents that happen in USA, across the whole USA, where people are using Ring cameras. So there was hacker. There was hacker who actually hacked into Ring camera. So he actually hacked into the camera and he was checking to a 7-year-old girl, a 7 to 8-year-old girl, where hacker actually talking to her. Hacker told that I am best friend, I am your Santa Claus, I am your best friend, and the girl was afraid that who was the guy who was actually talking to her. So this was one case study. There are lots of other case studies as well. I am running out of time. So there are lots of case studies where the devices has been hacked. So any smart devices you are using as of now can be compromised very easily. Your information can be shared very easily with somehow in different manner as well. So besides that, there are lots of recent data leaks, data hacks. The company has been compromised, like Microsoft, BlackBerry, Instagram, Uber, Google, Hawaii, Facebook, WikiLeaks. So whatever company's that comes into your mind that actually in USA or in India as well can be hacked very easily, can be compromised very easily, and it has been done as well. Either it's a government website, either it is IRCTC, Narendra Modi ji website, Department of Defense website, CIA website, Nykaa, McDonald's, Twitter, Truecaller, Snapchat, whatever you're using on regular basis, every application has been compromised once or even many times as well. Besides that, there are a few big news that I want to share. Google accidentally collecting 600 gigabytes of unsecured private data from the driving cars around the country, and all this data has been stored in their server, and it was publicly so someone actually hacked into it, or it was publicly available, and people are actually selling data as an advertiser, and all this information has been shared with someone. And in that data, there was names, email address, shopping habits, voting history, and so on. All this data has been compromised and shared publicly somehow. Similarly, there was a big hack from Uber. So Uber company's application was hacked, and 57 million customers and drivers' data was compromised and shared online publicly by hackers. Also, there was big hacks that happened in Facebook, where Cambridge Analytica actually harvested 87 million people's data from Facebook. Besides that, not just it was there, it was the one thing. After that, 540 millions of records from Facebook actually publicly exposed on Amazon Cloud Computing Services, which was publicly available. So 540 millions records, and what that data has in that record. So all the details, your likes, dislikes, your comments, your reaction to the post, everything is possible from your account that is stored in their server, on Facebook server. Everything has been actually shared on this database. Also, there is a company called Cultiva is also responsible for biggest leak that exposed 146 gigabytes of Facebook users data. Similarly, there have also been lots of breaches, hacks, data exposed, data dumps are there on the internet from Facebook only. I'm talking about. At this, they also leaked almost 22,000 of user data with Facebook username, passwords, and everything. All the check-in was there, location check-ins, photos, fans, user IDs, everything was there in that data. So you can see that what kind of data and how this whole data has been compromised of your Facebook account and been compromised and shared with someone else that you are not aware about. So every day and every 39 seconds, a new cyber attack happens. So on an average, 2,244 cyber attacks happen on every day. Cybercrime has been estimated to the cost to the world as in 6 trillion annually by 2021. It has been predicted that global cybersecurity spending will exceed $1 trillion cumulatively from year 2017 to 2021. By 2020, 100% of large enterprises will ask to report to their boards of directors on cybersecurity and technology risk at the least annually, up from 40% today as of now, which is 40%. Also, let's talk about, before concluding, I'll talk about a few things about as an individual, how you are compromising your information, you are compromising your details and privacy, and it has been affecting in a very harsh manner, a very distant manner. So we'll talk about that, starting with the Facebook only, that you are sharing lots of personal information, your personal information with Facebook. Whenever the Facebook is asking some questions to you, you're giving answers to them. So they know each and everything about you from that information that you are sharing to them. So not just that, this is a good meme that I like, that after the Cambridge Analytica breach, there were lots of memes that created, which actually shows that Mark Zuckerberg knows each and everything about us. So starting with that, the first meme. So there was actually Mark Zuckerberg came to India, and he went to some small village in UP or Bihar, and he was there, and this photo was taken there only. So there was a small child was looking into Mark Zuckerberg, and the meme shows that he was asking to Mark Zuckerberg that my dad told me you are spying on us. So Mark Zuckerberg told him that he is not your dad. So and this is a meme, but how he knows, because he knows each and everything. There is one more meme that I like, that Facebook helps coma people, coma patient deal with the memory loss by sending him or her all this personal information. Now, if we talk about the security, the things that he also aware about the scenario. So even Mark Zuckerberg even cover his mic and camera under the tape. So people, like any hacker, cannot take photos or videos of him from the webcam of his laptop. Also cover the mic, so people cannot record what he's saying, or hacker cannot record what right. So besides, he has to take care of that thing as well. So Elon Musk regularly destroy his phone for security reasons. Elon Musk close Facebook and WhatsApp on regular basis because he don't like their security. Also, he utilize on regular basis, utilize social media platforms and the bots they are using on regular basis. Besides that, we use different applications on regular basis, and from that, one of the my favorite app is, I never use it. First of all, I never use this application, but this is my favorite app because using this application, these people can get access to all the information possible for about you. So, which is actually created by Russian company, the app called FaceApp, where people actually log into this app and create and take a photo of yourself, or like you can take a photo of yourself and use that photo. You can create a photo and edit photo using artificial intelligence. They create a morph pic of you. Like if you are young, they can create you. They can make you old. If you are a girl, they can make you boy. If you're a boy, they can make you a girl. And other different scenarios can happen. So people who are using this application, people who are accessing this application, the company was getting all this information. What information they are getting, and they have had a few privacy content, and they have few terms and condition privacy policy, and which actually I like most about this application. They clearly mention few things that people ignore. So what they mention is, so they can store your data anywhere across the world as of now. So after this thing happened after GDPR. So according to the GDPR or any other laws in the different countries, so it has to be banned. They actually ban the storing of data of the citizen of their country to any another country. So but this application clearly shows that they can store your data in any of the country, either in US, if you're a citizen of United States or any other country, but they can store and process your data in any country across the world. Also, they are saying that it affiliates or service providers, they are affiliated with different service providers, can transfer your information that collect about you, include personal information across the border from your country or jurisdiction to any other countries or jurisdiction around the world. They can do whatever what they can share wherever they want to. So information that has to be shared in any other country, in which FaceApp interface has got to maintain the facilities in any other world across the world. FaceApp cannot ensure the security of information you transmit to FaceApp or guarantee that information on the service may not be accessed, disclosed, altered, or destroyed. So they are not taking any responsibility, any reliability that if something goes wrong with your data, so they are not responsible for that. They are clearly saying that. But by the laws, they are responsible. They have to be responsible, and there has to be liability. Also, they mentioned this: we are not responsible for a practice employed by any websites or service linked to or from their services. Similarly, they mentioned few things which is very important to read. That you yourself, if you are using this application, you grant an access to FaceApp application to your data, which is a perpetual, irrevocable, non-exclusive, royalty-free, worldwide, fully paid, transferable, sub-licensable license to use, reproduce, modify, adapt, publish, translate, create derivative works from, distribute, publicly perform and displace your user content, which is any name, username, or likeliness provided in connection with your user content in all media formats and channels now known or later developed without compensation to you. When you post or otherwise share any user content on or through our services, you understand that your user content and any associated information such as your username, location, or profile photo will be visible to public. So whatever you are doing this using this application, they are storing all this information, they are getting all this information, data and everything, and you can't do shit about that. So this was a good example. Besides that, if you talk about India as a government, this was in the news where people or person actually bought the billions of Aadhaar cards data in just 500 rupees. So it was in the news where Aadhaar card can be compromised very easily, can be edited, modified, deleted very easily, but within just 500 rupees you can do that. You can alter your information and can do that. So that was in the news. It was very serious that security of Aadhaar card is also not there. Now, if you talk about yourself as using social media, which is very interesting, that we are sharing lots of information about ourselves. Like, let me give you a few examples of it. Like you can see on the left bottom corner where there was a post where you can see that anyone near Parel Tata Memorial Hospital who can help manage stay for my mom and brought till transport service start working. So this is a 2 years back news where she is my friend. She actually posted on this Facebook post. She did in Facebook post where she mentioned that this is a scenario that my mother and my brother is like stuck because of the flood situation in Mumbai. Now she's looking for help. She don't know people on internet. She don't know who is there on the Facebook and who is talking to her. And she was giving all the information possible to the unknown person, right? So it's very serious that, let's suppose, it's just an example. Let's suppose she connect their mother and his brother, her brother, to someone unknown person on internet, and let's suppose the person actually kidnaps their brother and their mother, her mother, right? Is that serious? So whatever you're posting on internet, you should be thinking about, you should be sharing all this thing or not. Similarly, whatever people are sharing, there is a good example of it. You can see left upper corner where a person who actually shared their debit and credit card details publicly, sharing of the card details and stuff. So similarly, on the right hand side corner, you can see there is a two news channel which is edited in Hindustan Times, took a photo of person who is actually using Aadhaar card. And when you open that photo, when you zoom into the photo, you can clearly read all this information from that Aadhaar card. You can see that even an entity person actually told this person to look down and don't show this face. But using Aadhaar card photo, I can zoom into it, I can look into all the information. That is very serious. So you don't have to post any sensitive information like your Aadhaar card, PAN card, even voter card. So if you're voting, so don't take a picture with your voter card that I just voted today. Don't do that, which is very serious. And this information can be used in any of the different manner can be possible. Similarly, the usage of internet and usage of social media has been to extent that people can things are going wrong and doing lots of illegal and nonsense thing as well. Where the person who actually in the center, you can see the person actually mentioned that his Facebook post that 2 minutes is remaining. After 2 minutes, he actually mentioned to goodbye log out and was offline for 24 hours. People were afraid that what happened to this person, where the person went to, is he died, is he did suicide or stuff. People were afraid of it. The lovables of persons who know him were afraid that what happened. So after 6 hours, 7 hours, people come to know that he's good enough, he's appropriate in the situation, appropriate situation, he is normal, and he's right now alive, very much alive, and good in health. But he did a kind of cyber suicide, where he actually was doing cyber detoxing, where he took time to took off from the internet. So this kind of thing can go wrong. Like people saw that there was incident of in Blue Whale last year, I think so. So people are becoming a victim of Blue Whale game. So Blue Whale game was there. People were actually participating in this game and getting killed. So it was very serious. But few of the things were very false, very not true, and we didn't proper research on that how this thing happened. But the whole scenario was different in reality, and then we saw in the news. Besides that, the things that we share on, as I mentioned, the things that we share on social media, we have to think on that. The information or messages we share in social media or Facebook or WhatsApp as well. So this we actually saw lots of photos like this that people mention in WhatsApp message that please forward this message to 10 people or you will have a bad day. So this is good meme that I like about that, how Hanumanji and Shivji mentioned the person that, when did I told you that, if you don't forward this message and you will have a bad day. So kind of these are the good memes. Similarly, there was a thing that people are doing on regular basis on WhatsApp status that even I don't like. That's why I kept this meme on right side corner that you can see that sad song सुनना पाप है नहीं है लेकिन उसे WhatsApp status में डालकर दूसरों को edit करना ज़्यादा Right? So 62% of user upload personal data and info on FB, and as cyber experts, we did a good research work and shared all this information with this newspaper DNA, and it was in the news that we did in proper research work. So before concluding, I'm just moving fast forward now. So I have any 5 minutes more. So defamation cases have been happening on regular basis. So and people become a victim of defamation as well, and people are also doing defamation on social media platform. So how this happens? So starting with information disorder, there are lots of misinformation is on the internet. There's lots of disinformation in internet. There are lots of malinformation in internet, and these three are different things. But things that are happening in misinformation sharing are unintentional mistakes, such as inappropriate or inaccurate photo captions and 8 and 6 that we are keep forwarding on WhatsApp. This information is fabricated information, and malinformation is deliberately created information for and publicly shared. There are lots of different data and collected from different person and shared and created, and falsified data is also there. So the main thing as of now that is happening, which is trolling. So online troll has been happening, and people are trolling each other on internet, and specifically celebrities, right? So trolling statistics are there. 65% of 88 to 18 to 29-year-olds has experienced online harassment. 28% of Americans admit to online trolling. So this kind of stats are from US only, but we have similar kind of stats in India as well. So this is a good troll that I like, but this is not an appropriate thing that people have shared. Like, they start trolling with Alia Bhatt, where when Karan Johar asked him that who is the president of India, so she mistakenly said that Prithviraj Chauhan. Then after, people created few trolls that he is a student of the year, she is a student of the year in MBA from IIM Ahmedabad, but she don't know who is the Prime Minister of India. Similarly, as of now, these things are trending, that people are mentioning Ananya and trolling Ananya Pandey on regular basis, where these are few trolls. So how to control and handle these trolls on social media? So first thing is take a deep breath, then reply with the humor if you want to, or categorically ignore the content. Never use automated responses. Try to fix genuine complaints if there is a complaint. Be classy even when they are not. If they are wrong, provide evidence. Block or report users. So I hope you guys see my screen. So yes, there are a few things that is related to identity theft. You should protect your identity. Don't talk to unknown people on internet. Don't give information about yourself. Full name, parents' name, date of birth, addresses, phone number. Don't share your photos to anyone online. Maybe you don't know, don't trust them. Because people are doing cyber stalking, cyberbullying, and harassment. There are lots of issues that is there on the internet. Major issues related to school and college going students, because they are being victim of cyberbullying. Fake Facebook profile has been created. Sexting is a big issue. Anti-theft, bullying, pornographic content, defamatory, selfies, forced similar use of. So these are lots of issues that we are seeing on a regular basis. There are lots of case studies as well, but I am running out of time. So let me wrap it up as soon as possible. So concluding on this social media topic. So previously it was there. There's Gandhiji has 3 monkey that you can see the photo. Then according to the recent scenario, you can see that bura mat type karo, bura mat like karo, and bura mat share karo as in perfect key points. Also, let's concluding the last point. This is my last point of today about the criticality and sensitivity of information related to the payment. So if you are using debit card, credit cards, and you are doing transaction on a regular basis. So if you are going to ATMs, so keep these things in mind, that this ATM system can be compromising your information. Like there is a system, or there's a cloning system there, which is actually there in the ATM system, where whenever you are swiping your cards, this device actually get all the information from your cards and store it in that device, and later on it can be accessed and used and stored in PC or laptop. There are a few scammers. They're also putting in small hidden camera in the ATMs, using that whenever you're inserting keystrokes in the ATM, they actually record all this thing, and the information that's stored from your card using this swiping machine, they stored all that data from there as well. So ATM card schemers and hidden camera is also there in lots of ATM systems. Similarly, things can be go wrong in different manner as well. If you're talking about fake keypad as well, so there is possibility of having a fake keypad on the ATM system. Also, if you're using swiping machines, so there is possibility that the person who has a restaurant or any other places are using fake swiping machines are there. Small swiping machines are there also. Let's suppose if you went to restaurant and gave your card to the person or waiter, and when the person was going to the restaurant or like manager and giving and sharing the handing over your card to her or him, so before that, in between, the person actually swiped your card in their small this swiping machine and stole your data. Similarly, as of now, because the technology has been evolved and people are having smart cards which is having NFC in the ATM or debit card and debit card or credit card, so I need just one device. Using that device, actually I can just took the device from just behind you and just on your wallet, from your wallet I can get all the information from your credit card or debit card. So concluding my point, there are lots of cyber crimes right now across the India as of now happening, and few are like hacking, cyber stalking, harassment, threats, emails, phishing, password cracking or recovery, malware, stocks, attacks, scams are happening, charity, lottery and sharing, click frauds are there, social engineering has been also there, banking frauds are also there, and cyber terrorism also there. So all these different kinds of cyber crime is happening on a regular basis. So you should be aware about such things. You should be taking a serious note of this thing. These are a few cyber awareness tips that I have shared. You can look into it later or just ask for the link later. I'll share. And let me conclude on my today's topic. So as we saw, there are lots of vulnerability issues we are facing on a regular basis. So to secure yourself, you can use such applications called, if you talk about safe browsing, you can always use Firefox. You can use Facebook container to limit the Facebook access to information. In Firefox only, we have created, Mozilla have created a browser add-on as Facebook container. You can use Web of Trust, HTTPS, always Proton Mails for secure mailing, LastPass for storing your passwords, VirusTotal to check your websites before visiting, MailerLove, Signal, uBlock Origin, Hotspot, TunnelBear, ChatSecure, Wicker, Ghostly, Privacy Badger for this add-ons and for privacy and security. So I hope if you know and aware about these scenarios, I hope you will be safe and secure enough. So if you have any questions, you can drop all your questions in chat box or in either in YouTube comment section. We'll try to answer your questions there only. Thank you all. This is my contact details. Thank you all. Thank you for being here. Thank you for inviting me as well as the team and Hiba, Sony and Suhan. Thank you all. Thank you for inviting me. Have a good day. Take care.
Thank you, Viral, for the amazing session. For the Q&A, we don't have much time, so you can drop all the questions here or contact him directly. Thank you, Viral, for this session. I think everyone has at one point faced cybersecurity crisis in their
yeah, very true.
Yeah, at some point we have faced some cybersecurity crisis. I'm sure someone's password might be lost somewhere, and they try to get the password back from strange sources. So I think this session helped us to understand a lot about cybersecurity.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Viral.